Hey guys, Andrew the Realtor here. Happy May to you. Here's my quick update. First of all, thank you for actually opening and reading my newsletters. I really appreciate it. I know I get tons of emails. I'm constantly either unsubscribing or hitting delete or something. So I'm sure you guys do as well. And undoubtedly, real estate is not the only thing on your mind all the time, as it is kind of, well, for the most part for me. Obviously, I'm in the business. However, the information I give is actually really important if you have any interest at all in the real estate market. Maybe you hear things from people, or maybe you have friends or colleagues or something like that, or someone like that, I should say, that is interested in the market. At least you have some good information for them. I've been speaking at many more seminars this year than usual, mainly because now we're doing them online. It's a little bit easier. You don't have to rent out a place and pack it up with people, that kind of thing. This is actually quite a bit easier doing it online. So what I mentioned to you is I'm constantly looking at the stats, kind of as per usual. So here's what's happening in the market right now. And before I give you guys the market, if you don't care about this, here's the important stuff. And the rest of the newsletter below this video is going to be stuff about moving, from some good info from moving companies, some great tips there in case you know anyone who's moving. There's some very important stuff in there. There's also some information about the new phase one plan. I think it's 3 phases of reopening during this COVID thing. So if you have any questions about that, there's it's a link to the government site, I think, there as well, and you could look at some of the information there, fairly detailed. I found it important. Obviously, I've been essential this whole time, so I can't really complain, certainly. Then there's at the bottom, below that is some commercial real estate. If any of you guys have offices, there's commercial real estate rent, lease issues. I had a question about this just a little while ago. And there's also the property tax deferral, which is also something of interest. So actually attached to the newsletter, it's an email. Forgive me, C21 is not helping me out with this newsletter these days. So attached to the email is actually a PDF that has links in it to different municipalities, different groups of government bodies, and that kind of thing. So a lot of COVID-19 stuff related at the bottom there. So just scroll through it real quick. If any of this is applicable, or if you have any questions about it, let me know. Maybe I can ask the right person. Obviously, I'm not an expert in that area. So what I am an expert on is this. And here's what's happening in the market. So guys, bear with me. I'm going to minimize myself here. I'm going to do this real quick. I want you to see this because, again, I'm going to show you the numbers. What have you. Okay, so April. Here's April. April 2020, the 2 biggest things you'll see in the newsletter as well, but the 2 biggest things is notice that, one, the homes sold down 67%. This is April, obviously last month. Huge drop from April of the year before, for obvious reasons, COVID related. Now, notice the average price, same. It's at 0.1%. That's irrelevant. Averages are, average all kinds of different properties. So the point being, look at a huge drop versus the no change in overall price. You would think the huge drop would also mean a huge drop in sales, or some sort of a change at least. So here's what's happened. If you guys saw my newsletter, I hope you watch these because this little bit of information is actually really good. If you saw my previous newsletter in March, what happened in March is when COVID hit, we're climbing exponentially into what it would have been a very busy, second busiest spring market in decades. And so what happened is COVID had counteracted that. So even right now, I'll show you some stats right now, but even right now in May, towards the end of May now, we are in a position where inventory is low, but it's still not crazy because COVID is still holding down the demand. It's holding down. In fact, a worldwide pandemic is the only thing that could hold down the demand for real estate in the GTA, by the way. Very interesting. So you'll notice new listings at the bottom. I love underlined in blue over here. You see my little mouse. New listings down 64%, and active listings down 41%. It's like the whole thing just kind of shrunk and got down. But notice the lack of effect on prices overall. You see some changes in detached, semis. That's a monthly thing. It's not a huge deal. But the differences are minimal. And in fact, there has been some even increases still because people are still buying. There's still demand there. It's just nowhere near what it normally is. Next slide. Here's the GTA showings. Now, in March, right towards the middle end of March, showings dropped all the way down, really low. And right towards the end of March, beginning of April, that was kind of the low. That was the low point. And as I kind of anticipated, I think I mentioned even in the last video, in April, from beginning to the end of April, you'll notice here, showings, which is the blue part here, showings in the GTA started going up. More and more people are showing homes. And we're well into the middle of May, and it's all the way to the top. The drop there, that's Mother's Day, and good for them, for numerous reasons. Some of you are mothers. So that's that. Now look at offers, low, staying low. It's moving up recently. I don't want to bore you with too many stats. It has come up recently since the beginning of May in terms of offers. Because as showings go up, obviously logic dictates offers will go up as well, and they have. Point being, we're moving up. We're not moving down. And these stats are about a week and a half old, meaning that the pattern is continuing. Next slide. Here's some interesting thing, guys. Just in case maybe that doesn't prove things to you, or people ask you about what are people actually thinking. This is an actual survey, Ipsos survey. They're a good company that does a lot of surveys for Tread. April 24th to April 27th. So it's fairly recent. Home, I think it was 800 or something people in general, just Canadians. Look at here. 27% of survey respondents said that they were likely to purchase a home in the next 12 months. That's quite a bit. Now, what about the rest of the people? Well, home purchasing intentions were above GTA average in the city of Toronto for younger people aged 18 to 34, which makes sense, and households with children. For obvious reasons, they need more space. Similar to previous surveys, the most common reason for not intending to purchase a home was they like their current home, 62%. So 27% are actually looking to buy something. 62% are not looking to do anything, not because of COVID, but because they simply like the current home. Makes sense? Why would you move? No, that's pretty simple logic there. So the point being that COVID-19 related issues, look at my little mouse here, influenced about 16% of respondents. The point being, of course, it's a real thing. Of course, everyone is dealing with it, whether you're essential or not. Everyone's dealing with it. However, small number of people are actually influenced by it, meaning that should tell you once things open up, people are going to be at least 27% certainly looking to buy something, and probably more people than that because once they see things are open. So point being, I'll move myself here. Come here, Andrew. There we go. Good boy. COVID-19 has temporarily impacted home sales and listings in the GTA, not nearly as much as we think. And it's a pretty good survey. They're good at picking out a very general slab of people. Next slide. What about sellers? Oops, too fast. Here we go. Homeowners were asked how likely they are to list their home. You guys remember the numbers from the stats from the month? Drop in active listings, drop in new listings. Existing homeowners were asked how likely they are to list their home for the next 12 months. 70% listing intentions of homeowners were down markedly compared to spring of 2019 because sellers are not sure what's going on. They see that things are sitting on the market longer because there are less people looking to buy, and that's why there's less inventory. Now, a very large portion, 80% of respondents were indicated they were unlikely to list their home simply because they like their home. So again, the point of people, a lot of people, most people not putting their home on the market is not because they're scared, it's because they actually like their house and they have no things to sell. Pretty normal for everybody in any time. So COVID-19 related issues influenced about 22% of respondents. The point being, it obviously made an impact. That's why we're such a low inventory right now. But it's not something that is going to affect everybody. And once we see things opening up, as I'm seeing already, inventory has consistently gone up. Currently, right this second, May 23rd, 10:30 a.m., I'm doing this video. Right now, inventory is sales activity is up roughly 50% this part of May versus last month in April. Point being, everything is moving up. What I'm seeing more and more of is actually bidding wars, actually happening on occasion now. And I'm seeing many showings on properties. In showings on properties, so my listings included, they didn't have as many showings a week or two ago. The point being, we're slowly moving up to normal in terms of real estate. The housing market is keeping up. And here's what's going to happen, guys. One of two things. Either the buyers start acting first or the sellers start acting first. And usually it's the buyers who start acting first, to the best of my recollection in terms of historical data. This is what this means. There's going to be more and more people entering the market because things are opening, people are going back to work, jobs that were temporarily lost are now back, that kind of thing. Now, what sellers are going to do eventually, they're going to see that and go, okay, yeah, I can put my house on the market and get some money. So buyers go up first, then sellers are going to go up. For the next time, a little while, for buyers, it's going to be okay because we're still increasing inventory and we're still kind of figuring out this COVID thing. However, that's not going to last too long. It's going to be a lot more competition within the next few weeks. So folks, if you know anyone looking to buy, it's still a good time, but it's going to get busier. If you're looking to sell, honestly, even if you need to do it, you do it. You can do it right now. If you can wait a little bit. The truth is, I'm seeing things selling right now. I'm seeing multiple offer situations. I'm seeing more showings, virtual and in person. So the market overall, maybe a bit of good news. I don't know if you have good news in your life these days. I haven't talked to many of you in the past little while, for which I apologize. I'm busy being at home, frankly. But bit of good news overall is the market's actually pretty good, looking pretty healthy. Prices have not been affected, and things are gonna start going up as we open in the different phases, about which that little link in my newsletter talks about. So a little too long, guys. I apologize. Hopefully that was of interest. It's really good info. If anyone asks you about the market, this is what's happening. Don't believe the hype. Okay, guys. I'll see you guys then in June. Enjoy the rest of the newsletter. Thank you so much for your time. And as I indicated at the bottom, call me if you need anything, whatever, please. Thank you guys.